Okay, let's dive into this. We're talking about gut health, a topic that, let's be honest, affects so many of us. But today, we're going to go way beyond the usual advice. We're actually going to uncover a forgotten nutrient that might just be the missing key to truly rebuilding your gut from the inside out.
I mean, it really feels like a modern epidemic, doesn't it? So many people are walking around dealing with digestive issues every single day. And you try things, right? You follow the advice, you cut things out, you add things in, but that feeling of discomfort, of bloating, it just seems to stick around. So what is really going on here?
And this discomfort, it shows up in so many different ways. We're talking about things like IBS, that chronic gut sensitivity, or more serious inflammatory conditions like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. Maybe it's SIBO, where bacteria are just having a party in the wrong place. Or maybe it's just that constant nagging bloating you can't seem to figure out. If any of this sounds familiar, believe me, you are not alone.
And the standard advice is just everywhere. You hear it all the time. Take a probiotic, eat more fiber. And look, those things can definitely be helpful, for sure. But for millions of people, it just feels like putting a bandage on a much deeper issue. It never quite gets to the root of the problem, you know?
So what if there's a fundamental piece of this whole gut health puzzle that we've kind of forgotten about? A single compound that your body is literally designed to make for itself, but that most of us we're severely lacking. That compound has a name, and it's called butyrate.
So let's get into it. Section 1, the forgotten nutrient. We're going to uncover exactly what this stuff is and why it's so incredibly important.
Okay, so butyrate. Here's the first thing you need to know. It's not something you really get from your food directly. It's a short-chain fatty acid that your own good gut bacteria produce for you, but only when you feed them the right kind of fuel. It's a product of a healthy, thriving internal ecosystem.
And its importance, well, you just can't overstate it. I love this quote from Dr. Jin W. Sung. He says, butyrate is the primary fuel for the cells that line your intestines. Just think about that for a second. If your gut cells don't have their main source of energy, how can they possibly do their job? How can they repair themselves? They can't.
All right, Section 2, meet butyrate. And as you're about to see, just calling it fuel is only the beginning of the story. Its job is way more active and way more protective than just providing energy. Butyrate is like a Swiss Army knife for your gut. It has this incredible triple action power. First, it's profoundly anti-inflammatory, so it literally calms the fires of irritation. Second, it's an antioxidant, so it protects your gut cells from damage. And third, it's antimicrobial. It helps keep the bad bacteria from taking over.
And this right here, this is one of its most critical jobs. Butyrate literally helps seal your gut lining. It strengthens these things called tight junctions. They're like the little gates between your intestinal cells. This is the absolute key to reversing what people call leaky gut, a condition that's linked to all sorts of health problems.
And that brings us to Section 3, butyrate's immune superpower. Because this is where it gets really amazing. Butyrate's influence doesn't just stop at the gut wall. It reaches out and fundamentally changes how your entire immune system behaves.
I absolutely love this analogy. Think of your immune system as this incredibly powerful orchestra. Without a conductor, it can just become a chaotic, noisy mess. Sometimes it underreacts, but more often it wildly overreacts. Butyrate is that conductor. It steps in and brings order, balance, and harmony to the whole system.
So how does it do that? Well, it talks to a very special group of immune cells called T regulatory cells, or Tregs for short. These guys are the peacekeepers of your immune system. Butyrate essentially gives them their marching orders. It tells them when to calm an immune response down and when it's okay to act, which prevents those crazy overreactions we see in things like allergies and autoimmune conditions. And just look at the difference here. It is night and day. On one side, when butyrate is low, you get immune chaos. You get overreactions, chronic inflammation, a higher risk for autoimmunity. But on the other side, with plenty of butyrate, you get immune balance. You get controlled responses, a calm and regulated system, and just healthy function. It's a total system upgrade.
Which brings us to Section 4. Okay, this stuff is clearly incredible. So the obvious next question is, how do we get more of it? And the answer isn't a pill. It's a specific kind of food called resistant starch.
This is it. This is the big aha moment. You don't need to focus on eating butyrate. You need to focus on feeding the good bacteria that are already living inside of you so they can make it for you, right where it's needed most. It's a total shift in thinking. It's about working with your body.
And the absolute superfood for these bacteria is something called resistant starch. Now, unlike other starches, this stuff, well, it resists digestion in your stomach and small intestine. It travels all the way down to your colon, where it arrives like a perfect meal, ready to be turned into glorious butyrate by your microbial allies.
So, that brings us to our final section. Section 5, your gut healing action plan. Now that we know all this, we can build a really simple but really powerful strategy to start making more of this healing compound ourselves. Here's the whole strategy. It's just 3 simple steps. Step 1, remove. Take out the obvious things that are irritating your gut, like ultra-processed foods. Step 2, add. This is the game changer. You slowly and consistently add resistant starch to your diet. And step 3, support. You back this whole process up with the fundamentals: good hydration, quality sleep, and managing your stress.
And getting resistant starch is surprisingly easy and cheap. The top sources are things you probably already know. We're talking about raw unmodified potato starch, which is a powerhouse, very green unripe bananas, potatoes and rice that have been cooked and then fully cooled down, plus things like beans, lentils, and even raw oats. Now, the long-term goal, where you really start to see the major benefits, is somewhere between 15 and 30 grams of resistant starch per day. That might sound like a lot right now, but don't worry, the way you get there is the most important part.
And this part is absolutely crucial, so please listen closely. You have to start slow. Your gut microbiome, it needs time to adapt to this new superfood. So you're going to begin with just a half a teaspoon of raw potato starch mixed in some cold water or a smoothie once a day. That's it. From there, you can very gradually increase every few days. Go slow. So, when you boil it all down, here's the crucial takeaway. You have the power to fundamentally change your own gut health. By understanding butyrate and learning how to feed your microbiome with resistant starch, you stop being a passive victim of your gut problems. You become the farmer of your own inner garden, actively cultivating health from the inside out.
So I'll just leave you with this one final thought to chew on. What if the most profound healing doesn't come from some new pill or an exotic supplement, but from simply learning how to powerfully and intentionally feed the trillions of allies you already have inside you, who are just waiting to get to work?